This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about...
What if? Episode 4. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart? Spoilers. Huge, major, big spoilers ahead.
Spoilers.
We've also got time codes down in the description if you want to jump ahead to anything. Yeah, we talk about potential ties to No Way Home. We talk about Easter eggs and the creatures that he consumed. And we talk about special insights into Marvel storytelling patterns and specific shots and animation styles they used. All that and more. Enjoy! PreBanter, peanut butter. Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, dude.
Yeah?
I'm doing great. After watching that episode, oh my goodness.
We'll get into it. I have a few things I want to get into for PreBanter, though. So we're recording this really super late, September 1st. And I feel like there was just like a switch, and it was like, all right, now it's fall, even though it's technically still summer and stuff. But like,
I'm ready for fall. I want it to be.
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, I'm wearing a like shirt right now that's like very fall. It's like a tricky trot 5K run. But I don't know. But seriously, like I went on a run today. Well, first off, it's like flash floods everywhere. Like the power went out. So like my power went out.
I still had to go to work through all that.
I know that. I actually was thinking about that. That's crazy. But there was flash floods. Like I went for a run and I was like super cold and just like shorts and a t-shirt. And like literally at one point I stepped in a puddle and my shin, like half of my shin, just went up to water.
Why were you running in that? Why?
Because, I'd put it off for so long because I was waiting for a call about something else. But I just wanted to get it over with. But, you know, and it was kind of fun. It was actually really funny. Like, I was like running and because I was waiting for that call, I still hadn't got it. I was just like done. I was like, I'm done waiting for this. I put my phone in a Ziploc bag and was just like running. And then I thought I was getting the call and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to like answer. And I looked at it and it was like an Amber Alert, like flash flood emergency warning. It was like, do not travel. And I'm like, yeah, running.
You're shin deep in water.
It was actually like the second I stepped in the shin deep water was when that like emergency alert.
Thanks, phone, for letting me know. I think I figured that out.
Yeah. But it was funny. But yeah, hopefully the power won't go out. We'll see.
Yeah, we hope.
Oh,
I think most of the heavy storm passed us. We should be fine.
Yeah. But also, so my background has been kind of similar recently, but I've been working on some paintings, so like some TikTok paintings, and my grandfather and my grandmother, they generously like put it in a frame, but I haven't hung it yet just because with the lighting I have over here, it like reflects in just a harsh glare, so I have to figure something out about that. But I want to show everyone. Like if I hang it like here, it gets the glare of the light.
It gets the white light and all that.
But yeah, this is like kind of what I've been working on. How do I do this without just showing you my whole computer screen, the light? I don't know if you can even see it. I just want to let everyone know, show Pat, like, thank you for that. And I do have it here. I'll get up eventually, but that's the situation we've got going on right now. Yeah, that's everything I had for PreBanter. Anything else you want to talk about before we jump into the introduction?
I already got through my chocolate, so I don't have anything else to talk about.
Oh, you're golden. All right. Right, here we go. You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Welcome back to Whatever You Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, two devilishly handsome gentlemen, talk about movies, TV shows, giving behind-the-scenes insights, filmmaking techniques, all that jazz, and more. What are we talking about this week, Daniel?
We are talking about What If, Episode 4.
Episode Quattro. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? What were your overall thoughts?
At first I read it and I was like, wait, is he going to have like a heart attack?
Yeah, I didn't know. It was like...
It's kind of ironic.
I love like what it was though, like
yeah, I figured that it was something like that.
As soon as like she walked out, and like he was like opening the car door for her, I was like, oh no, this is I know what's happening now.
So there's so many things I love about there's so many things I love about this episode. There's a lot of questions that I need answered. There's a lot of things that were just going on where you're like, wait, if that's doing it that way, then how does this work? You know? But the way that it ended, I loved. The way that it
set up a lot for potential things in the future.
Yeah, the stylization. Like when I told you about how I wanted like styles and feels to be different throughout. This is what I meant.
I have so much to talk about. Like when they get to the like that like ancient library, like the style and the drawings there. Yeah. But anyways, before we get there, I want to jump into our famous segment, Dialogue Duty, where we talk about all the voice actors that are returning and new.
Hit me with it.
So cue the sound clip.
And then it was really hard to sidestep that duty thing.
All right. So
thanks, Chandler.
this actually had pretty much most Yeah, pretty much. I think most of like the most people returning. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if there was anyone actually from the original cast that didn't return. That the character was in the show. The guy that played like the other magician sorcerer in like the green, that was like no more sorcerers at the end of the first Doctor Strange. He wasn't a character in this.
Mordu?
So yeah. So he wasn't in this. But other than that, we had Jeffrey Wright back as a Watcher, of course. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Rachel McAdams, who was back as Christine Palmer. Benedict Wong as Wong. And Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. There was a little funky stuff going on with her animation with her mouth at one point, I noticed. But I don't know, it was anyways. Mm-hmm. And then we had Ike Amadi as Obang, who was that librarian. I liked his character a lot. Oh, I remember. So Leslie Bibb, one of the like news reports, like
when she died.
Yeah, when she died,
like
it was news report. It was the same actress that was in the first Iron Man that Tony Stark slept with.
Oh wait, really?
He was also in Iron Man 2. It was the same voice actor. It was the same actor they got to do the voice. So I thought that was a cool little connection. Yeah, she also it was in Iron Man 2 with Hammer or whatever. Yeah, so
she's like, "Oh, Tony, look, I'm with Hammer now," and Tony's just like, "Eh."
I think they're also married. Hammer, the actor that played Hammer, and Christine
and her are actually married
in real life. Like, that's kind of cool. I think I said when we covered Iron Man 2 in our last episode, I was like, that gives me hope. I don't know. But yeah, also my man Fred Tatasciore. I think we talked about him he was in Planet Sheen or whatever. We were like, Planet Sheen. I made like a TikTok about it, but he did some additional voices in this as well. So I don't know, maybe some pedestrians or something. That was the end of our. Oh wait,
interesting.
What do I say? Ka-chow, Bazinga, or something like that. That's how we know we're out of.
Just hit all the big
all the catchphrases. That's how we know we're out of the segment. But yeah, so yeah, we start off with Palmer getting picked up, and as soon as she got picked up,
as soon as I saw that cliff face, like with his Lambo going around the cliff, like that's like one, it's iconic, just that view of it. But then it just sets it up because like we've already seen in the movie where you're just like, oh, you know what's gonna happen. But the twist on this was just so it gave you hope when he did like the maneuver that got him, like,
I know that's such a false sense of hope that.
And then it still got it in the back, and he's just like, oh. And
man. Like you can see, I saw the lights coming before like the big impact, so like you could see them coming, and I was like, oh no, no,
this is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Yeah, for real.
One from the front, one from the back. Oh man, but seriously, it is freaking traumatic. Like,
yeah. So Strange and Palmer actually seem to be on better terms, which I thought was interesting. Like, what do you think about like that? What do you think the what if event is? Like that Strange isn't as much of a dick in the beginning, like, and Palmer likes him, or like what?
I mean, they had an okay relationship before.
It wasn't this good. Like it
wasn't at all.
Yeah,
she put up with the shit.
I think the what if happened before, like something with Strange and Palmer that like they have a decent relationship now, which is sad to think that like in the world that he has a better relationship overall. Is the world the universe like ends? That's how you know you're not meant to be happy with this person.
But it's also weird to think about because at the same time later on, the Ancient One's like, this is an absolute point.
Yeah, but so does that mean absolute points? I was going to ask you about that. I guess absolute points are different in different universes then, because that was not relative absolute point each in our universe. Yeah. So what do you think are like absolute points in our universe?
In the MCU?
Yes.
I feel like they relate to specific cataclysmic events, like what we saw, like the blip. Loki.
Do you think the blip was like an absolute?
Like that was an absolute. You know.
Only a Sith deals in absolute.
But also the snap.
Yeah. Wait, Ancient One is a Sith confirmed. She did go to the dark side.
She dealt with dark magic. Yeah. So,
that Star Wars Marvel crossover, the what if we were talking about before, that's actually happening.
Really, come to think of it, I think like every movie that we've seen of the MCU could technically qualify as a Nexus event.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
big picture.
Ant-Man's pretty tame, you know.
Well, like we saw in the last episode, things didn't go right with Hope.
True. Pretty much the events of Doctor Strange then play out just like Doctor Strange, even though the motivation is slightly different. Like he trains to be a sorcerer and then he defeats what's his face, Dormammu.
Yeah.
which I thought was really interesting. And then it's afterwards that like everything changes.
Yeah, you remember how in Doctor Strange though, how he had to like go back because he had like got cut open from like that invisible shard thing, so he like went to her. I wonder what happened there instead. You know?
What do you mean? Like he went back?
He was fighting like the 3 other like evil sorcerers, and then he got hurt, so he had to go to the doctor. He had to go to whatever her name is.
So and then, so he went to Palmer. So he just went to another
Palmer,
doctor.
And then from there, maybe I don't know.
Maybe,
or maybe he didn't get hurt.
Maybe
because he had his hands this time.
True, and he's like better. I don't know, but sorry, just back to that whole like character motivation. I like how they're going about this. Like for the story, they're thinking about story and character and motivation, and that drives everything. Like I really like that, and I think that's the way to go about it, not just making all these cool visuals, but like that's secondary. It's amazing, but the character story is always like key, and Marvel's doing that well in my opinion in this series. Like Hope Douglas last week, Hank Pym, Michael Douglas's character, with Hope like driving her death, driving his motivation.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I have a theory for you.
Okay, lay it on me.
I feel like the Ancient One is the one
as Sith
that
Lord
actually damned this universe
when she split the two. Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like the universe was probably going to be...
It's going to be screwed either way.
Because like if she didn't split and he went down that dark path, it would have just like went all inky like it was going to, and then destroyed that way. And whatever would have happened there would have happened. But this gave them a fighting chance. You think it wouldn't have? Why not?
Well, why was it going inky in the first place?
Because he was stopping was going back to stop an absolute point, I think.
Because he's kept on going back to that singular point in time to try to prevent it.
Yeah,
and he was then achieving power that was and
he still would have. He was going to do that even if she didn't split him.
Say she does split them, right?
She did,
and then the other one wins.
The good guy.
How does he fix that? Yeah, how does he fix it then?
Lets her die? I don't know. I don't know, dude. That's a good point, though. Then we get to that point where they do split, like you're talking about, and I just like how in every universe, Doctor Strange just does not listen to Wong. Like that's an absolute throughout every universe.
That is an absolute no matter what.
Like in No Way Home trailer, he doesn't listen. In the first Doctor Strange, didn't listen. In this, What If, he doesn't listen.
That's why Wong just said screw it in the other trailer, in the Shang-Chi trailer. He's like, I'm going to go fight Abomination instead.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to do me.
I had another question for you, too.
Yeah.
What do you think was the rule set with the Infinity Stones, given that there was 2 separate timelines now? It's one universe, 2 timelines.
Yeah. I really don't know how that worked. I don't know if it like when she split them, it like maybe created 2 universes that then like when she needed the good Doctor, that's a show, the good Doctor to fight the evil Doctor, like she just plucked him from that universe. But yeah, I was wondering like how that worked, like how she did that act of splitting them and like where they're living separately. Like maybe they're just living simultaneously in the same universe because the Doctor Strange, the evil Doctor's like away in this library for centuries, not seeing anyone. He could theoretically be there. And then this good Doctor is just living out his life. I like don't know how the time frame works out actually, because the evil Doctor was in the library for centuries.
Yeah.
Like so I don't know, dude. That's
why time is weird in this case. If I'm being honest, I don't think this episode, on a technical standpoint of time, follows through.
Okay.
There's these questions that are providing plot holes, right? Where it's
you can
one
universe.
Say
like it's magic. There's probably a way to explain it.
But now think about the Infinity Stones, right? Like, were there 2 time stones now, one with each one?
Maybe, maybe the good Doctor Strange just never opened up his Eye of Agamotto again, and if he did, he was like, "Well, I need to use it. It's like empty or something."
Yeah, that's one way they could solve that.
Enough time talk. Back to the tank. All right. I have to go back. I mean, this whole episode is time talk, whatever. But
yeah.
So my question is like the first time he goes back to like try to save her, he just does the same thing again. Like, what do you think was gonna change? Like he just goes back and like drives the exact same way, except instead of the first near-death experience, he avoids that one, thank goodness. But the second rear ending, he does nothing to prevent that. Like
maybe he forgot about it. Maybe he was like, "Oh yeah."
I mean, it has been like however many years, and like
it was 2 years.
He fought Dormammu. It was like a lot's happened, but
he's been doing a lot. But yeah,
but So I this next montage though of like would just be like torture to see like the love of your life just die over and over in different ways and like and no matter what you do.
Wasn't
like
there one in there where she had like a heart attack when they were dancing?
That was a stretch. Like where the heck did that come from? And then he shot or someone shot her, the mugging, whatever. There were a cool sequence of shots like when Doctor Strange is looking left to right in screen, he looks like destroyed. It's like right after the car accident, so like the screen's all gray, and then it cuts to him thinking and longing about Palmer, who's looking right to left, so looking at him in screen, like the screen direction again. Just as juxtaposition between like the gray, like dreariness of how he's feeling, and then like the gold, like ideal version of her that he's remembering with the music swelling. Like that was incredible. I like that.
That was a lot. Yeah. I was going to say I liked, because we're kind of getting the stylization there with what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And I like how this one brought out a lot of different kinds of styles to like different action points throughout. So for example, when the Dark Strange started like absorbing more creatures, or just entities, I guess.
The Dark Doctor, the DD, he's a designated driver. RIP because he drove and then Palmer died.
He should not be the DD.
Well, ouch, sorry, Doctor Strange, too soon.
But no, so I love how they started bringing back different kinds of stylization back into like what he was doing. Not only through him like absorbing things, but like later on when he's using the dark magic, you can get like the Kirby dots throughout.
Yes, I noticed that too. And also just the color change, like Doctor Strange is like the good doctor. I would call him the good doctor and DD, and Dark Doctor. So the good doctor, he like had like very gold, vibrant like beams, and then the Dark Doctor, the DD, had like I think like an orange or white like center beam, but like the surrounding beam was like red, almost maroon, like darkness. Yeah. Also, he was like the Dark Doctor felt very desaturated.
Mm-hmm.
Desaturated DD.
I mean, over time, it's very well done the way that they're doing like the texturing as well as just the way.
Yes, that's a good segue.
Rig and face. Yeah.
The texturing, not on him that I'm thinking of, but I loved when they went into the jungle, and first there's just like the rays of light as he like is just there immediately, and then he walks and sees the like grand like matte painting of the like jungle temple library. Yeah, like I love that, and just like there were a lot of like precise brush strokes and like lines that they used that like stood out to me, but were like fit very well, and just like I don't even know what it reminded me of, but like maybe the old Star Wars matte paintings, but like more stylized. I don't know, just like not a cartoon, but I don't know. It was just like it stood out to me, and I really liked that a lot. I like how just like this specific part, but What If is giving the animators and storytellers just a chance to be super creative, especially with like set and like production design, things that would be a lot more difficult to do in, like live action, maybe through CG. But like the next part where like he walks into that huge library room with like all the floating books and stuff, like that was really cool too.
I love the effects for that too, like just the particle effects of like they look physical because they're mesh space, but technically qualified as a particle effect of when you. I can get to the technicalities of it, but I'm just going to say it's particle effect of them doing the books and all that, and all the animations like the fluttering and the extra rig animation in there. Oh god, that was great.
Yeah. So then we get to the sequence. Well, first off, he meets what's his face? What's the librarian's name? Obang.
Obang.
Obang. I think it's Obang.
Bongo Man.
Bongo. No, it's Obang. I like him a lot. That character. But he like kind of sends him on his way, and then Strange starts like experimenting with like consuming beings, and he first gets that like the same. It looks like the space squid.
I know, that's what I was gonna say.
Space squid kid.
Literally,
Shuma Gorath is what a lot of people are theorizing that it could be from the comics. So
Shuma Gorath, that sounds familiar.
It's like a big tentacle monster with like a big eye, but we haven't seen like the center of it. So like, I don't know.
But isn't that what Hydra like praises? Like actually,
maybe.
Comics? I don't know.
Space Squid Kid. Yeah. I was expecting to see like Captain Carter like pop out for a sec, because I think
he absorbs her.
I think we see her come to face with Dark Doctor Strange in one of the trailers, and that could just be like trailer promo stuff. But I don't know. That could be something down the line because we didn't see that this episode. Yeah, before he like actually starts consuming, he goes back to Obang, and I love the knowledge that like this was like a very deep episode. I love Obang just like spitting facts, dropping knowledge. He says love can break more than your heart. It can shatter your mind. And I'm just like, dang, Obang, like who hurt you, King? Come on, man.
Why do you think he's a librarian, man? It's just him and his books.
True. Dang.
They let strangers walk in and
he's just there
abuse,
reading like graphic novels and like 50 Shades of Grey, like constantly. He's just like fantasizing. That's what he does for the next like centuries. But yeah, so then Doctor Strange starts like experimenting with like consuming things, and he consumes a gnome first, which I thought was like really funny. But what I wanted to happen is like at the end fight when he's like using all the like powers from all the
animals
things he's consumed.
I
wanted to just like either like send the gnome out or just like use the gnome power or something somehow in like the fight against the good Doctor Strange. I thought that would have been really funny.
What do gnomes even have as powers in Marvel? I feel like that's like an actual thing where like they have idea. like really good like hiding or like building capabilities or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, it's I liked the effect of when he does like initially like consume the first thing. Like it looks like the Avatar: The Last Airbender when Aang and Ozai are like energy bending against each other, and like Aang's at the very end taking his spoilers, like bending away.
It's been like years.
You never know. It had like that resurgence. We also want to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender on this podcast, so like stay tuned for definitely. That. Yeah, I talked to my roommate Logan about it. But anyways, back to the tank. Yeah, when he was like consuming it, like it was like light coming out of his eyes and mouth, so it looked like that. It reminded me of that.
That's what it made me think of too. I was like, oh wait, he's doing it. He's and
then he freaking mugs a cockroach. He just like summons him
like he summons
from like his everyday life. He's like, I'll take that cape, and then sends him back on his way, which I guess is better than consuming him. But like, come on, man, give me your jacket.
Do you think I was like the Doctor Strange from like a bug universe or something like that?
A Bug's Life Doctor Strange. That'd be funny. But so then he consumes like a raven, a dragon, and then like at one point it like cuts to him and he looks very Mephisto like almost.
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Devil like. I don't know. What were your thoughts on like all the designs of the creatures?
I thought it was very well done. They're combinations of both like things we've seen before, like you know, earthly things, but as well as like demonic. Some things look like
very demonic.
I mean, we see the Space Squid Kid.
Space Squid Kid.
The dragon, was the dragons the same or similar to the one that was seen in Thor Ragnarok?
I am not sure.
I'll have to look into
thinking
that.
back, it might remind me of something similar to that. I don't know if it was as big, but maybe it's like a baby. Oh, he killed a baby. No. He really is the DD, the Dark Doctor.
DD killing babies, oh no. But no, like if it is that, then that means we know he's taking things that are like alien, things from different dimensions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if he is pulling stuff straight from hell, that'd be kind of badass. Not gonna lie.
I wonder like if we could go back and how much is going to come out with like Easter eggs to all those like creatures to like the comics and what's that referencing? Because there were like a lot of things that I feel like they could have like referenced from, or if Marvel was just like make some cool demon looking creatures, like have fun.
There was one that also kind of looked like a Man-Bat too, if I recall.
I thought that too, but I was like, that's DC, all right? Maybe that's symbolizing. Wait, isn't Man-Bat? I thought there was a Man-Bat in DC.
Well, there is Man-Bat in DC, but there's also
maybe it's symbolizing Marvel symbolizing them consuming DC.
in the 90s show, there was a time when Morbius turned into
Morpheus. Yeah. Speaking of Morpheus,
he went through like genealogy, whatever.
The Matrix 4 is still scheduled to come out like at the end of this year, and I've heard like nothing about that. I'm excited if it is. We'll talk about it, but
I want to know what's going to happen. Also, only the one sister's directing it, so both of them this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like a personal thing.
Oh, that stinks.
Like, she gave the blessing to the other one to, you know, do it and finish it and all that, so.
Is it like, are they the Wachowski sisters now?
They were the brothers back when they were doing it, but they both transitioned and now they're both, I believe that's what happened. I believe they both transitioned and now they're sisters.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Which is actually interesting. I saw there's a lot of like, if you look back at the original Matrix movies, you can make a lot of like connections to like transgender, like subliminal like not subliminal messaging, but like just like subtle things that like point to that, which and like being inclusive with that. So I think that's kind of interesting, like looking back, especially at this mainstream piece of media from like the 90s when that was very much not like as accepted as it is today, which isn't it still today. A lot of people, but yeah. I like what we did with the Watcher in this episode. Yes, he considers like intervening, and then like Strange like senses him at some point, but like and then at the end, obviously. But like, I think this whole episode was a good way to be like show like no matter how freaking bad it gets, the Watcher's not gonna interfere, and that's setting that up. And then I think at the end he's gonna interfere for something, and we're gonna be like, whoa. So like I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing: he will not interfere when it comes to the death of a universe. I feel like he's going to interfere.
It was the death of the multiverse.
Yes.
Which I think this Dark Doctor, the DD's trapped in this dimension, this like little cube, whatever is left over. This universe
died, and what he's left in is him using his magical ability to protect himself.
Right, but if he escapes and gets to another universe, there's a theory that the Dark Doctor somehow escaped and
he's going to do that.
There's a theory that he escaped and is the one in No Way Home, which is why he so easily like accepted Peter's request kind of thing. I don't know about that one, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I feel like DD might show up in Mom. Okay. I'm not sure he's going to show up in No Way Home.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, that comes out like March or something next year. We haven't really seen anything about that. But yeah, so then he finishes like his conquest of like consuming things. We find out he's been doing this for centuries, which is like crazy
to think about.
Yeah. And then Obang was on his like deathbed. I do like though that after all of it, like Strange is still like, I want to help you. Like I now have the ability to like turn you back. Like, but Obang's like, I've lived. Like I love that message. Like he's lived a happy life and like he's ready. Like a lot of heavy messages about death and acceptance, dealing with loss. Like I said, I feel like the two Stranges, the Good Doctor and the DD, the Dark Doctor, should set aside their differences and start like a magic show because they're the most powerful sorcerers supremes, and they both look like each other, so they can like do like the whole like twin like trick, like where like you put one in a box and then you put another in a box, and like you don't even have to do any magic because they both look alike, and you do like a little trick, like they teleported. Woo!
Literally, Strange on his own can already do that because he could just do a projection spell.
There's two. Twice the pride, double the fall. This is getting out of hand.
The one is super spiky and angry. The other one's like all soft and nice. Oh, look, they're exactly the same.
Yeah, that's funny. One like turns into like a giant like freaking monster, and the other one's like, look, Benedict Cumberbatch.
We're twins.
It's like all they should do the movie Twins with like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Have you seen that movie from like?
No.
It's a long time ago. The movie is called Twins, and it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are like twins somehow, or I figure they're like half brothers or like something like that, or maybe they're twins. I think they're like growing like a petri dish or something. Spoilers from this like 40-year-old movie, but like the premise is like they were separated at birth and they find each other again, and they're like told they're twins, and then it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito that show up, and they start like living together, and they're like, how are we twins? And they like get into all shenanigans. But they should do that with Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, and then this freaking monster Doctor Strange. I don't know. Dang, Twins is good. You haven't seen Twins? Come on.
I think I've seen bits of it, but I haven't like sat down and watched it.
We should watch Twins and talk about it on here or somewhere else, maybe. Maybe a patron thing. But yeah. So they should do a magic show on the road. That's what I'm thinking.
On the road from one universe to the next. Oh, whoops! Yeah. We actually destroyed that universe.
On to the next one. I also thought it was interesting. So, like, we've kind of been making fun of Marvel for years for just like having the hero, or so that villain, just be the opposite of the hero, but like with the same power, a slightly different suit. And now Marvel's getting like even further and just like, we'll just make the hero also the same villain. Person. Like we had that with the Visions, and now we have that with the Doctor Stranges.
Sympathesius.
Yeah.
Save Palmer.
I mean, we had it with Iron Man and Killmonger, and then Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket, and even Captain America, Red Skull were pretty much like, they both had the super soldier serum. Let's just cut out the middleman and make them the same person. Hire one
really,
actor.
the only one where that didn't happen, I think, is with Spidey in this,
in their first movie. Well, Thor didn't really. I mean, Loki's his brother, but they have different powers.
Oh, yeah, but they're both gods.
Yeah, but I mean, you could argue that Spidey and Vulture are both humans then.
Well, yeah, but like, okay, but like Spidey has like spider powers and Vulture's
But
just
Michael
an old
Keaton's
man.
Batman.
Yeah, he's Batman.
He's more than a man. Batman.
Want to know my secret identity?
I'm Batman. I was wondering, like, going into this fight, like when Doctor Strange, the Good Doctor, and the DD went into this fight, like who would be more skilled, because the Dark Doctor, like,
he's trained for centuries. Well, and he has more power.
I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if he's been training. He's been practicing consuming. I don't know, like, how his hand-to-hand combat is. For centuries, he could be, like, not have fought anyone, besides, like, just consuming these creatures. I don't know how much fighting went into that. It looked like he just, like, did some energy thing. Meanwhile, this first, the Good Doctor is fresh off of fighting Dormammu and like, everything he went through in Doctor Strange for his training. So I wonder, like, how good they were going to spar up against each other. And, I mean, the Dark Doctor won. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Like, I was wondering, like, how those skills would translate if we'd see anything like that.
I had a feeling the dark one was gonna win.
I mean, yeah.
Like, I wanted the good one to win.
I feel like he held his own for a while, but
yeah, he did. When the cape
no capes
sacrificed itself, I was like, no!
Oh my gosh, I know, I was so sad. Which just goes to show how good the storytelling is from, like, the first Doctor Strange, because of how, like, much of a character that was. And it's a freaking piece of fabric.
It's a cape.
But yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I loved, but there was this one shot when he gets pulled into, like, I think it's the mirror dimension, but it looks like this, like, he gets pulled into, like, the ink, like, he gets pulled, like, the Dark Doctor pulls the Good Doctor, like, from, like, as a shadow into, like, the ground, and then, like, it flips upside down, like the upside down, like Stranger Things almost, and it's, like, dripping, like, inky. I just love that, like, style. Like, that was really cool.
That was great. What if he pulled him into the other timeline? But it was already collapsed. Like, that's all that was left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
that'd be dark.
The Dark Doctor. I don't know.
Like, oh, I'm at home now.
Honey, I'm home.
Palmer's just over there dead. God.
I was thinking that, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna say that. It's too dark. And you went there.
Yeah, I had to.
But yeah, so then the Watcher speaks and interacts with Strange and, like, comes in. It's actually kind of terrifying. He just, like, floats in.
That's the most
like,
the Watcher has, like, interacted with anybody yet, and I'm just like,
well, it's actually interesting.
He's technically breaking his own rule because he is interacting, but it's at a point to where it doesn't matter. It's cataclysmic.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I actually saw in, like, an interview or something that Jeffrey Wright, the guy who plays the Watcher, he said that this story, like this episode 4 story, like, spoke to him compared to the other episodes, like, what was one of the ones that spoke to him the most. So he personally, just as a, like, human person that ingests stories, was interested in it. And then he found out that, like, the Watcher got to, like, speak and have more of a role. So he thought that was a cool, like, kind of duality that both him and the character, like, were drawn to this story personally. So I thought that was interesting. Wonder if he's drawn to any other ones or how much he's going to speak in other ones.
That's true. I feel like towards the end, we're going to get, like, what was it? Like the Avengers of the Multiverse or some shit like that. And in that, we're going to be getting the Watcher, who... The Watcher is going to be pretty much the multiverse version of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
There was an idea.
Like, this just proves that, like, the Watcher's not gonna interfere. I don't know what he's gonna interfere for now. Like, the multiverse, I guess, if it, like, something happens. But so this whole thing was just very emotional. Like, the whole universe is destroyed, and he goes into that, like, he tries to hold it together. Palmer's back, and then just, like, instantly
it just collapses,
liquidizes. I don't know. But yeah, that
I probably call it more like voidifies. Honestly,
yeah,
it's like it's literally like atomically collapsing into, like, void.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't know, Strange felt the Dark Doctor, well, I guess now they're both one Doctor, so he's not just the Dark Doctor, he's, like...
It's just the Doctor.
The Doctor.
It levels out.
The Doctor. He just, like, he seemed just genuinely sorry and, like, sad for what he had done. So I don't know. I kind of, even though he's, like, kind of a villain, I just felt bad. He was kind of our protagonist. We followed him throughout this story, and, like, it's. I mean, he started out as a good guy. He's the Doctor Strange we, like, loved, but, like, this just drove him to madness, and I think they showed that character motivation again and that descent into madness very well. So I loved this story. That's all I had about the episode. Anything else you want to talk about for that?
Well, I have two things.
All right.
One, the first time when the Watcher was like, I couldn't interfere, but I don't think he would listen, right?
Yeah.
I guess technically before that, like before the Ancient One split him, I feel like when she split him, she also kind of split, I guess, personality in a way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because when he rejoined together, like you were saying, like he was sorry.
You
know what I mean?
You're saying, I was thinking that too, that maybe he's more sorry and more apologetic is because that good doctor's having more influence on him.
Exactly. So when
Okay.
he was split, it was more likely for him to go down the dark path because he was that version of him only had the option to choose or the feel like he had to get Palmer back.
Maybe.
The second thing I'm thinking of, this is drawing from Loki, right? I'm thinking about time travel and including the TVA, right?
Yeah.
Technically, there are no absolute points because, again, we saw that Loki figured out the logic of if you hide in a cataclysmic event, you can still get out of it. When Strange was using the Time Stone, he was manipulating time on a universal level, right? It only works within that universe. But the TVA is, again, a step above that.
Right.
So if he had, like, TVA time control,
well,
he could technically save Palmer.
He could always just jump to another universe, get that Palmer, but I don't think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted to save the Palmer in this universe because that's the one he fell in
he
love
could have
with.
saved the Palmer in this universe.
Really? I don't know.
Think of her as a variant.
But she's not. I don't know. I don't know about that.
If you're able to pull her from this universe completely, he was changing the universe timeline. That way she was still a variable within that timeline, no matter what it was. So in that timeline, yes, it is an absolute point that she has to die. But say you remove her from the total wall equation. Say you took her to the TVA. That variant of her is then still alive.
I think we have to think about the hierarchy of like the TVA versus like magic and sorcerers, like who has more jurisdiction. Like I don't know how high the Ancient One goes and everything. And I know we have a talk on Patreon that Daniel talks about the hierarchy of everything. Check that out if you want. I think we've been talking long enough. You ready to move on to more stuff?
Patron shoutouts?
Well, first I'm going to say I think next episode is theorized to be Party Thor, and then next episode after that is Tony and Killmonger, then Marvel Zombies, and then Stark and Sakaar. So be ready for that. We've also got a very special guest lined up to talk about some what if
super
stuff,
exciting.
In a few weeks or so. It's not going to be. I'm not going to release it. It's going to be like an additional episode, like an interview with that person. So keep an eye out for that. Excited about that. Yeah, ready for Patron shoutouts.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Cue the epic Star Wars music. Boosh, we got Patron Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for pledging the tier. That gets you the shout out. If you want to support us over on Patreon, the link is down in the description. You get episodes early, cool perks like bonus podcasts like we released last week about the certain trailers and stuff. You get to vote on occasional polls about podcast topics, all that and more. We really appreciate it. Also, if you want to support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, we really appreciate it. And often I pluck people that we read the reviews we get on here. We don't have a new one, which is fine. And occasionally I also pick people from that leave reviews to get like a free mug or like special benefits whenever we do a giveaway. We pick and pluck. Yeah. But yes. Also before we go, please follow us on our social medias. We're doing some cool stuff over on TikTok. We're posting a lot more on Twitter. We're going to start posting on Instagram more. Might be even posting more on YouTube besides just the video podcast, some special stuff. So check that out. Thank you. That's all I had about that. Ready for the introduction?
Yeah.
All right. When?
We just talked about where we want to talk about, and now we're done.
Thank you so much for listening. Really, really, really appreciate it. See y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye.